Hey there friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I want to check out the gameplay reveal trailer and overview for Marathon, Bungie's upcoming extraction shooter that launches in the fall and looks incredibly interesting. Now I wasn't able to catch the full hour-long live stream itself, but I did see a lot of information that we learned from the developers, not only from social media posts, clips, and all that kind of good stuff, but checking out the trailers as well. I want to do that first and foremost, and then give my thoughts and other information because I'm incredibly in on this game. I haven't really invested in an extraction shooter previously, but this one looks right up my alley, and I'll explain why throughout the video. The aesthetics are definitely for me. I'm a big sci-fi fan. I don't know if I enjoy the hyper-realism of like Escape from Tarkov, whereas this is kind of more my vibe. It also looks a lot faster paced, which I appreciate. We got snipers, grenades, ARs, and you're dead. Oh, is it a shotgun?
Death, the end of all things. But the dream is not over. My dream, yours. No.
Yeah, runners are the characters that you can play as, all with unique abilities, but you can also upgrade and customize them to make them feel kind of like your own. The gunplay looks really smooth. I wouldn't expect anything less from Bungie, but it's very, very important because of a game like this, in order to stand out, has to feel crisp, in my opinion. It definitely has some Destiny vibes with some of these mechanics and stuff, but I do like the aesthetics and the way it looks overall. Got a big barricade to block enemy fire. That looks nice. Nice little ability there. Wishlist on all platforms. In fact, this is coming to Xbox. It's pretty interesting, especially because Sony has a big stake in Bungie. But yeah, coming September 23rd. I'm going to pause that real quick. September 23rd, so later this year, which I think is great news to know it is on the horizon. Plus, we have an alpha dropping in just a couple weeks on April 23rd to May 4th. That one you won't have any streams or gameplay impressions because it is going to be under NDA. However, there's likely to be a beta. If we've seen Bungie games in the past, we will have a beta sometime, probably in August, maybe even in July or something of that nature. So that would not surprise me. They also announced that the game will be a premium title, which means you will have to pay to own it. It's not going to be free to play. However, they also revealed that it's not going to be $70 and will more likely be in the $40 to $50 range, which I think makes a lot of sense from them having a premium title style of game, but also likely having eventually like battle passes or paid DLC or something like that in order to get additional content in the future. Anyway, let's check out the gameplay overview, which will give us a bit of a deeper dive into how the gameplay is going to work, which we've seen the gunplay looks really good. The runners, we know that they're going to be the classes essentially of this game. And yeah, I'm very curious to see what else they have in store for us. So this is early, obviously, because we don't have the full information. That we'll have more as we head to the release closer to September as well. Invisibility is something that is always tough in games like this, and I wonder how it'll work. It didn't look like it lasted all that long, which I think is a good thing. The environments and the maps look really good. I believe that as well. I wonder how it'll customize with like skins for weapons, skins for your character, all that kind of good stuff. We got a sniper. Definitely got to hit the guy in the back first.
Marathon is a team-based extraction shooter set around the mysterious and cutthroat world of Tau Ceti 4.
Yeah, there's finishers to eliminate enemies, which I think
a
is
cybernetic mercenary who's given up their human form for a biosynthetic shell with unique abilities and stats. capable of both
There's
tactical
LMG.
and fast-paced combat. Here you'll
There
find
is
in a crew
PvE
of
and
up to 3
PvP, by the way.
players across a variety of zones and points of interest. You'll face rival runners in zones of up to 18 players, countless security forces,
There's PvE.
and otherworldly threats. To scavenge the remains of a lost colony for glory and fortune. The environments of Tau Ceti 4 are filled with weapons,
So it looks like you can find a
materials,
lot
and
of different
equipment you
items
can
on the ground.
scavenge throughout the map. Before deploying, you'll strategically build your loadout and select a runner to ensure you're equipped for the run ahead. Your objective is simple.
Yeah, I do like the
Get in,
designs
gather as
of these
much
characters
loot as
a
you
lot.
can, and make it out alive. Die, and all your gear will be up for...
I understand that not everybody is into extraction shooters, but I don't feel like we've had one that feels like this from what I'm looking at, right? It feels like we are missing not only one that's on console to be very successful. We do have some extraction shooters like Hunt Showdown and stuff, but none that have really taken off to that degree. We really don't have any sci-fi extraction shooters that have blown up since the Cycle Frontier was essentially shut down and went through some dev changes and all that kind of good stuff. So I am curious to see if this will be a game that lives up to the hype because of its potential. Now we know that the Discord was basically not working for a while as people tried to sign up for alpha keys because it is one that is in high demand. One of the downsides though is that it does share a release date right now with Borderlands 4, and I wonder if one of the games is going to move a week or two before or after in order to separate just a little bit, because I do think there will be some crossover, but not as much as you might see with Destiny and Borderlands, for example.
grabs. Survive, and your loot can be taken into future runs as you grow in power and fill your vault. Death is inevitable, but it's never the end. Think quickly on your feet and outplay your opponents, and in your next run, you and your teammates will be the ones coming out on top.
Ooh, grenades.
And even if you're down on your luck, factions can sponsor you with a fresh loadout, so you can get right back into the fight.
Yeah, your teammates can revive you when you're
brings
down
its
and also
best-in-class
fully bring you back as
first-person
well.
multiplayer action to the forefront. Dynamic and tactile gunplay.
Looks like
Runners
players
with
have
unique play styles
an overshield and
customizable
their
builds
base health
create
as well.
highly dynamic and strategic team fights. Whether you're on a zero to hero run or high rolling with powerful gear, you'll need to use your best judgment when you decide which fights to pick and how. Because no matter how geared you are, players with skill and strategy will always have the edge.
Working together is going to be important.
Marathon is designed to be played.
Right now, it's trios. So 3 players per squad. You can't turn off fill. So essentially you would load in by yourself, but you would then have to fight other trios even though you are playing solo. The hope is that there will be a solo node, so that way you can play by yourself all the time and you're facing other solos instead of teams. But it is also a team-based game, so I doubt they're going to want to necessarily have players being solo all the time unless something changes. So we'll see. I hope they put in a solo queue mode where it's all solo players, no teams or anything like that. But we'll have to wait and see. And everything has to be balanced is the problem. With an extraction shooter, you don't want one mode or the other to be significantly easier when it comes to getting loot and making progress with your character, your upgrades, all that kind of good stuff.
Crews with contextual pings, shared objectives,
Whatever that ability was,
and
sick.
down but not out to streamline playing with your friends. Death is not the end.
I do
And
feel
if
like
you're
this
the
will be
last
more
one standing,
casual
you
than
can
something
overcome
like
the odds to
Tarkov.
revive your teammates and get out with your hard-earned loot. And if you believe your skills alone are enough to conquer any challenge, we give you the freedom to opt out of crew fill to take all the glory for yourself.
That's what I was
as a
saying.
solo runner. No 2 runs in Marathon ever play out the same. With dynamic events, variable weather, and unpredictable players, You'll have to adapt on the fly if you
I
want
do
to
like that.
survive.
Oh, the straight melee was
Each
crazy.
run has a time limit.
Is that like a hand
Anything can
cannon?
happen while you're chasing your objective. Looking to unlock upgrades or increase your faction reputation? Slip into the shadows as Void and ghost past your enemies. Search the map for rare materials and profit opportunities without being discovered.
Interesting.
Want to push enemy teams
Full
and
stealth
steal their
offense.
loot? Bring in Glitch with agility implant, and you'll
Yeah, these are
to disrupt
the
rival
runners.
crews. Running support for your friends. Grab extra equipment, shield charges, and a specialized backpack.
A
to be
claymore.
the lifeline they need.
Yeah, healer would obviously be nice
You're
in
always
all
free to experiment with team compositions, and the only limit
squads.
to how you want to play your runner is your loot and imagination. Endgame challenges, ranked play, discovering secrets,
Ranked.
seasonal storytelling, community events, and more all await you in Season 1, where you and your friends will start to
Oh,
unravel the
okay, that's
mysteries
interesting.
of Tau Ceti 4. Remember, you're only ever one run away from your next big score.
Yeah, I am incredibly intrigued by this. I feel like this is one of those games that I'll be playing a lot of. Again, I know it's not going to be for everybody, but I do feel like it looks like a lot of fun. So yeah, seasonal storytelling. They did drop a pretty insane looking story trailer that's pretty long, and honestly, from the clips that I've seen, looks like a movie. I'll do a full reaction to that as well, because I'm really excited about that. I do feel like these games have room for story, maybe not in the traditional way, and you don't want to invest too many resources in like cinematics and stuff like that if the community at large is not going to be super interested. But I do feel like having an underlying story would be very necessary. Community events, I think that's very important. Ranked play coming at launch or at Season 1. I don't know if that's going to be at launch or if there's a delay. Sometimes we see with games where they launch and then there's like 2 weeks to 3 weeks or so, and then we see Season 1 launch. So I'll be very curious if they launch hand in hand. I hope so. I feel like that'll fill out enough content so people don't get rush right through it, but we'll have to wait and see. Secrets. That's something that from the content creators who have played it already have talked about how you can play this game in a numerous amount of ways. You can be a run and gunner who just wants to go PvP a lot. You can go secret hunting. And there's some maps, some situations where you might not be PvPing as much. You're searching for these secrets and hidden things. And I think that's very exciting as well, because it does lean into people who might not be as PvP forward, but they want to contribute, they want to play with their friends and enjoy a game like this. Ranked play, I think, does add an interesting element to the game as well, because I'm very curious how you're going to rank up, what's going to provide you the most points. Obviously, it's not like a battle royale where you're just winning, but it's like maybe how much stuff you extract with or something like that. End game challenges as well. Maybe there's certain bosses to defeat, PvE, which I think would be excellent, especially those high-value targets to hunt on the map. Certain pieces of loot to extract with that might be more difficult to obtain. Maybe you have to tackle like a stronghold of an enemy where there's more condensed creatures to fight, people to fight, robots to fight, whatever the case may be, but the loot is rewarding enough to make it so it's desirable to take on. All of that is potentially really good and something that I think would separate this game from a lot of extraction shooters as well. It does feel like with Bungie's history of understanding endgame in Destiny, for example, not only PvP but also PvE, they have a leg up in understanding kind of what drives players to want to keep playing the game over and over again, and that's going to be very important. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What part of the gameplay that you've seen so far is most exciting to you? I know for me personally, the gunplay looks incredibly good, but also the runners, the ability to customize and upgrade and really make it feel like I'm playing. You get like cybernetic enhancements and all that, and I really have the build of my choice. Sounds very, very interesting. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video, as always, comment, subscribe, have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.